I mean, they feel a little demoralized with supporting Trump. What can you share? What insights would you might have in maybe swaying someone from the other side, or potentially the other side, to coming to a different side or a different opinion?
I think coming to a different opinion is a difficult thing to do for a lot of people, but it's part of the process. There has to be education, talking, not fighting, not doing what he and his administration is causing his followers to do, which is go around and just immediately shut us down. What we need to do is we need to sit down and we need to talk. I have plenty of people that I know that support the president and his agenda with everything that he's doing, his platform. They're good people. That's the truth. They're good people for the most part that just want a political structure change. They don't like, basically what he was running on, which is the same old politics back and forth. That does need to change. We need to fix things. And if you want to come to our side and discuss things and get your opinion on it, that's exactly what we're trying to do. That's what we're doing. Sit down and talk, because every election they're talking about reaching across the aisle. How can we reach across the aisle? He's doing the exact opposite. So what we need to do is we need to reach out to these people and say, hey, we understand where you're coming from. We understand that you're hurting, that you're suffering, that you're angry. We are as well. So if we can relate these things and talk to each other without getting angry, lashing insults constantly, that's the effective way to go forward from this point on. So we have a progressive common ground. Progressives are not just Democrats. There are progressive Republicans. It is a nice, independent in the middle. That's a very important thing that people do not discuss enough at all. And so what we need to do is work together in any way that we can. There are people who are extremists on either side, but we need to work together and try to, actually come together and fix things and move forward from that point.
Hey, you mentioned a really important thing, that there are progressives on the left and to some extent on the right. And I know some people find that very hard to believe, but I think it's there's many people that are out there and they don't even know that they're progressive, or they don't even know what their politics are, and they're still kind of barely tuning in, and they're barely getting woke, I guess, as some term that some folks might use. But now I'm going to be a little I'm going to ask a question. I think one of the most important questions, because I'm a big Bernie fan, and I know that Bernie's been getting a lot of slack. Will you be supporting Bernie if he runs in 2020?
Absolutely, I will. Because I'm not at the point where I go and I get angry at him and I say, how could you betray the party? Because a lot of people lashed out that way. 2016 up till now is very divisive. People like just taking sides very quickly. You have to understand the process. What Bernie is doing and what he has always done is he has fought for us. He has stood up for us. He changes his values? Never. It's just that. It's not the kind of situation where he flip-flops. He has always stood by. Look at the videos from way before any of this was going on. He has always stood by his values, and that is something that I do. I do that as an American, and I do that as someone who's voting. I stand by my values. I listen to different sides and I see, but Bernie would have a very strong support.
So some people might think that Bernie running for 2020 is a little controversial, and to say along those lines, with regard to controversy, what do you think about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just recently supporting the governor? Yes.
Yeah, I did hear about that. For a lot of people, that was just a shock. And everybody was just kind of like, wow, okay, did she switch sides? Is she kind of... What we are doing is we're making progress. We're taking our steps one at a time. What she did, in a way, is playing the system. You have to be part of it in order to make change from the inside. Because a lot of the times you can get shut out very easily by these establishment. Look what he had said. Look what was said against Cynthia Nixon. There was there was barely a ripple effect from the progressive movement. The fact is, there is a lot larger than a ripple effect. We're spreading, and we are gaining our traction and our power in our government to help make a real difference. And that's what we're doing. So what Alexandra was doing was something for the betterment of our entire movement. She wasn't just, saying, oh, whatever, I give up, I'm just succumbing to it all. It's not that. We have to look at the bigger picture. Don't just lash out and be angry at someone who's had these values for us. So,
Right. Excellent. And I'm reading here on the screen someone saying, I don't know how anyone could be a progressive right. Can you please explain or put that in some simpler terms, I guess?
There are people, for example, that I know. For example, I know some gay Republicans. And being gay myself, I was like, gay and Republican, that doesn't even work. The fact of the matter is, he explained a lot of the values that he has, concerns that he has, and a lot of the things that he believes in are progressive in the way of helping people get forward. But at the same time, there's also the fact that monorail again.
Yeah, monorail. Sorry, folks, if you're tuning in, we're here in Las Vegas, underneath the monorail, and if you can see it in the background there. Sorry about that. Anyway.
But it's the fact that, and you were asking about the fact of having, progressives that are on the right. And the fact of the matter is, you can be a progressive no matter what side you're on. What we're seeing most often is people on the far left and the far right. And those are the views that we're seeing. But there's people just like you and me that grew up and have their ideologies a little bit closer to the right side, but they're not like the alt-right. They're not far over there. So people that believe in, common sense gun laws, but at the same time might say, hey, we need to, stop certain things in terms of immigration and certain ways that they do things, that might be a little bit more on the right ideologies. Progressivism is a big bubble. It's like those diagrams that you see where it's, you got the left, you got the right, you've got the middle. There's always going to be things that cross over into the middle from both. It's not an extreme, so it's not people that are just like, we want to ban all Muslims that call themselves progressive. It's not as much that. It's people that have more of the ideologies that kind of intercross with ours. Right. So. Hey,
Eric, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
we'll see you around.
Have a good one.
All right, folks, again, if you're barely tuning in, we have protesters out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, where Trump is hosting a rally, and we have many people here. And let's see if we can find someone else. There were a few hundred people here earlier today. It's begun to wind down a bit. But let's see here. Hi there, can I ask you a question? I'm Manny with Real Progressives, and you're on live. And can I ask you what you're doing out here today?
Sure. I'm out here to make sure that when someone I don't agree with his policies comes to my city, that he understands that it's my right to protest, and I can let him know that I would prefer that he not roll back the clean car standards, and that he not pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement, and that he actually protect the environment that we're all living in.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, folks, again, you're hearing from a couple of people here who are protesting President Trump. And let's see, this guy's taking a selfie.
Charlie don't surf, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
I'm Manny with Real Progressives, and can I ask you what you're doing out here tonight?
Today I'm protesting the policies of Donald Trump, which I do not support.
And why is that?
I don't support Donald Trump's policies because they're harmful to the LGBT community.
Okay.
He's made a lot of policy changes recently regarding gender identification markers on passports. Of course, everyone knows about the transgender military ban and stuff of that nature.
Can I slow you down there?
Yes, you can.
For some of our viewers who aren't sure what that is, can you share a little bit about what that ban was or is?
So currently, as it stands, transgender individuals are not allowed to serve in the United States military. People who are already serving are going to be affected by this, but in the future, people who are transgender won't be allowed to enlist. In addition to that, certain treatment options for transgender individuals are being stripped away from the TRICARE medical insurance, which covers our United States Armed Forces. The reason this is an issue, I think, personally, is because transgender treatment options, not including surgery, is really, really cheap. So everyone arguing that it's
Perfect. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course. Have a good one.
Okay, folks. So, again, we have a couple of protesters out here that's dwindling down. President Trump is already addressing the crowd, and there's some people who we have Trump protests or Trump attendees who are leaving the facility here. Let's see if I can. Hey, can I ask a quick question? I'm Manny with Real Progressives. Can I ask you what you were doing out here? Were you here to watch President Trump,
Yep.
I assume? And how do you feel about President Trump and how he's doing today?
Good. I felt great.
Perfect. Hey, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the show. All right. So, folks, again, Manny with Real Progressives, and we got to speak with many Trump supporters who were waiting in line. Many people who started, I believe, at 6 7 o'clock this morning, and the line was wrapping around the building. Las Vegas Metro has been able to have a successful event out here and protect the Las Vegas residents and people attending or visiting Las Vegas. And I want to thank you for watching Real Progressives. Be sure to tune in when Steve gets to interview Danielle St. John and a few others. Be sure to support Real Progressives either through sharing, liking, and most importantly, if you can, throw a few bucks or many bucks over to the Real Progressives organization. And again, this is Manny with Real Progressives signing off.